Hey everyone, how's it going out there on YouTube land? This is Schaefer with Schaefer TV, and we got a good we got a good video for you today. We're going to be recapping the Tuesday night Champions League quarterfinal second leg matches, the Barcelona versus PSG, and the Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. One of these matches was a very solid match. I think both teams played quite well. One team obviously played better than the other. And the other match on Tuesday night was an absolute shambles. It was a shambles because of one of the teams. It was a shambles because of the referee. There was a lot of everything about it was a shambles, So I guess we'll start with the good match. Borussia Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. One team absolutely came to play that night on Tuesday night. One team came to play and one team came to survive. That's the way I saw this match. I predicted Atletico Madrid would win this match. Because of years past, Atletico Madrid have played in very big matches. They played in Champions League finals, Champions League semifinals. I thought with a one-goal lead, Atletico Madrid would come into Dortmund, and I thought that they would park the bus and maybe they'd squeak a goal. However, I thought that they would come out of Germany with this win and advance to the semifinals, and I was wrong. Borussia Dortmund put it on them, and they kept coming and coming and coming. And to be honest with you, watching this match, Atletico Madrid just don't have an answer. They didn't have any answer. There was no creativity. The midfield looks old, and the players are getting up there in age, but they looked old, and they just do not have the defensive prowess that they once had. A couple things I want to go over about this match. Atletico Madrid came into this game with no intention on attacking whatsoever. Even when they were forced to attack in the last 30 minutes of the match, they have nothing. They have nothing to offer. They had the only player with any kind of creativity in his game on the offensive end was Griezmann, and Griezmann can't do it all alone. Nobody can. Okay. Atletico, in the first 25 minutes of this match, they were one of the most wasteful 25 minutes I've ever seen in possession. When they had the ball, they didn't do anything with it. They did absolutely nothing. And every single time, I think for a 5-minute stretch, I think there was like 2 or 3 offsides every time they got the ball. It was just an absolute joke. Just no creativity. In the midfield, all the midfield was doing was dropping back and hoping that Griezmann could make something happen for Morata. Morata was absolutely atrocious in this game as well. Absolutely atrocious. He is one of the best and worst strikers in the world. And what I mean by that is somehow, some way, this man can come up with big goals and big moments. Usually for his country, though, but he comes up with big goals and big moments. And then he disappears for 6 months and doesn't do anything. Just one of the weirdest. And he's one of the most touted strikers in the world, talent-wise, athletically. Just offers next to nothing today. Just next to nothing. He was substituted at halftime, and rightfully so. He probably shouldn't even have started that game, if I'm being honest. I understand why you're starting him. You want him to hold up and maybe squeak a header for a goal or anything like that. But it just wasn't happening for him today. Moving on to Dortmund. First and foremost, I want to say that Julian Brandt is one of the best attacking midfielders in the world in the moment. He is a fantastic attacking midfielder. But Dortmund are lucky to have him, and I don't imagine they're going to have him that much longer. I do believe that they can sell him for upwards of 50, 60, 70 million. I really do, and I do think Dortmund's going to do that. If Dortmund's history tells us anything, it's that they breed talent and then they sell it. Okay? Also, Dortmund have a lot of big game experience between Hummels and Emre Can. Defensively, with Slotterbeck doesn't have as much experience. However, defensively with those three at the back, they were extremely solid back there. So basically, they're relying on this very stern, very experienced defensive line to hold down the fort in the back, and then they allow their wing backs to get forward, and then they're allowing Sancho and Brandt, and they're allowing Madsen and Adeyemi, all of these creative, pacey wingers and midfielders. They're allowing them to just create. And then you have that big lump in the middle, Fulkrug. And you know what, man? He's a big time player. He just seems to come up with goals when they mean a lot. So more more power to him. One of the things that I also realized in this game, it was very fun to watch. Atletico were not ready for that Borussia Dortmund crowd. They were not ready. All right. So Borussia Dortmund advance on goal differential. They won this game. They won it quite big. And yeah, I'm actually very excited to see them in the semifinal. Hopefully they can continue with this form. They're not showing this form in league, to be honest with you. Hopefully they can continue this form, and maybe they can make a push and make a run to the final. We will see what happens. On to the second match. Now this match was an absolute disaster, an absolute shambles. PSG and Barcelona. Barcelona goes into this match with I believe a 3-2 aggregate. Yeah, a 3-2 aggregate. They go into this match in the first 30 minutes. They get their goal. They're up 4-2. Everything is looking fantastic. The first 20 minutes of the match, Barcelona press the back line extremely hard on PSG. They were swinging the ball from left to right. They looked fantastic. PSG was doing what PSG do. They're holding possession and they're looking for a chance, but they're not quite getting on the end of anything. They just weren't taking their chances either. They had plenty of opportunities to take a nice, 15, 20-meter shot, and they just didn't. However, when Araujo, dang, man, that's hard to say for me. When Araujo got that red card, obviously the game changed. It changed big, it changed dramatically, and it swung almost out of control at that very moment. And it wasn't till minutes later that the game did lose control. Now, a lot of people say, okay, that shouldn't have been a red, that was minimal contact. Well, here's the deal. Barcola's through on goal. He only has the goalie to beat. Barca's Araujo, he puts his arm on the shoulder, he pulls, he trips him up at the back. It's a red. I'm sorry, guys, it's a red. All right, it is what it is. Maybe it's harsh, maybe it's not. The referee, in my opinion, made the right call. Yes, it's going to change everything about that game. However, Barcelona was up 2 goals in that moment. Okay? It wasn't a penalty kick either. So Barcelona was up 2 goals. They have 60 minutes left in that match. Even if they did give up a goal, they have a very, very good chance of winning that match still. That's Barcelona. They're a solid team. Now, the problem was Barcelona has several players out with injury and or suspensions. And Inigo Martinez comes in for Lamine Yamal. And to be honest, Yamal is the only one. He's the only one being any creative at all on the field. That whole first 30 minutes. So Xavi took out his most creative player. Yes, he's the youngest. He took out his most creative player. He put in the center back. He did the right thing. With that being said, Barcelona were unable to create anything else in that whole match. They had 1 or 2 chances on transition, and both of them failed to score goals with. Lewandowski probably should have passed that ball off. However, he is a fantastic striker, and he probably also did the right thing taking that shot. But that red card changed the whole game, and afterward a flurry of yellow cards came from all directions. Xavi got sent off for acting like a child on the sideline. I understand his frustration, but you cannot act that way in a Champions League match. You can't act that way in any match. You can't be kicking things all around the field. You just can't do it. Then his assistant coach also gets red carded, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes later. It was just a shambles. Instead of being calm and trying to reassure your team and trying to grind out this win, Xavi did the exact opposite, and he He got booted from the game. And it's a shame, too, because Barcelona could have won that game still. They could have won that game. They were not careful. They were too emotional, in my opinion. They were way too emotional. I understand the emotion. I understand it. Trust me, I do. I would have been, if it was my team, I would have been extremely upset as well. However, that's football, and you need to re-engage, refocus, and get back to business. You can't be letting your emotions dictate and control you throughout every single second of every single day. You have to just, in sports, you have to have a short-term memory. You have to just let it go, and okay, on to the next. Let's get it. That's not what Barcelona did. That's not what they did. PSG were not particularly very good in this game either. However, more power to them. They got it done. They got the win. They get out of there. They're going to the semifinals. One other thing I want to add about this match, Vitinha in the midfield on on PSG. He is fantastic. He is a fantastic midfielder. He is wonderful. He is a true 8. He is a box-to-box. He can hold the ball. He can pass the ball. He can carry the ball. He is fantastic. All right. I'm not quite sure how old he is. However, wonderful football player, wonderful midfielder. I wish we had him at United. He would help us immensely. Last thing, Dembele. Dembele put 2 goals past his former club. Dembele played well. He also missed every single damn chance that he has almost. He did score 2 goals in the 2 games versus Barcelona. More credit to him, but Jesus, he needs to put some of these chances away. He needs to do better. He's got Mbappe commanding 2 defenders almost every second of a match. He needs to do better, all right? It's going to be an interesting semifinals between these 2 teams, Dortmund and PSG. With that being said, congratulations to both of them. I do have to do a quick shout out to Victor Olmedo. He wanted me to do some push-ups if I got my predictions wrong. Unfortunately, I can't do the push-ups. I'm having surgery later on in the week. However, I will say I am a little bit shocked that Dortmund came out and played the way they played. So more power to you, Victor Olmedo. I know you're a Barca fan, and I feel bad for you. And you know what? Like I wrote you, man, better luck next year. You got a fantastic team. You got a lot of kids on that team, and they're only going to get better. Barcelona produces world-class players, and some of those kids are well on their way to being world-class. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe. Send a comment. Victor, thanks for writing a comment. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll get back to you with another video soon. All right, guys, have a good one.